Unlike the travel ban, which just applied to aliens seeking admission to the United States, Trump's biometric entry-exit tracking system will apply also to American citizens. The facial recognition technology that the system uses to identify travelers leaving the country will be used to identify American citizens too, unless they request an alternative means of verifying their identities. And this time, the federal courts would not have to base their decisions on extemporaneous campaign statements and late-night tweets. According to the Bible, the Antichrist will be a charismatic celebrity, a big talker and a smooth talker, the website states. He will convince people that he alone has the solution to every problem. He will claim to be a deal maker and a master negotiator. He will claim to know how to defend Israel and to create lasting peace in the Middle East. He will be an intimidator and a militant lover of power. It adds, he will exalt and magnify himself and claim to be the only savior. He will deceive the masses, and even the very elect. Sound like anyone you know? Top 5 Donald Trump Uri 666 connections. 1 Trump Tower is on 666 Fifth Avenue, New York City 2. The tower also happens to measure 666 feet tall. 3. Trump inherited his grandmother's real estate empire when she died on June 6, 1966 equals 6-6-64. The billionaire tycoon announced his candidacy for president on June 16, 2015 equals 6 plus 1x6 plus 1 plus 5 equals 6-6-6. 5 and the year 2016 when he won the US election equals 666 plus 666 plus 666 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6. IP address, log, thing to it.
Now what we're going to work on next is the myth that he was elected and it surprised everybody that he was elected. This is just part of it, but there's a video that I'm going to take part of, and that'll answer questions.
If you remember the news story, you can read below about it, about Bridget D'Avignon, the girl who discovered that all but one president are descendants of the same English king, John Lackland Plantagenet. Donald Trump, the newest US-elect president, is also in this group together with Hillary Clinton. In fact, the Daily Mail have uncovered that both Trump and Clinton claim lineage to John of Gaunt, 1st Duke of Lancaster and son of King Edward III of England. As the Daily Mail reports, Clinton claims the lineage to her 18th great-grandparents through the Rodham family of her father's side, while Trump is related to her through his mother Mary Ann MacLeod, who was born in Scotland. According to MyHeritage.com, both Hillary Clinton's and Donald Trump's lineages trace back to John of Gaunt, the 1st Duke of Lancaster, and his third wife Catherine Swynford. John of Gaunt was one of the sons of King Edward III. Source, Ancestry.com. King Edward III of England is in the Plantagenet family tree and is a descendant of King John Lackland Plantagenet, which means that even the newest president of the United States is not different news from the others when it comes to the lineage and their ancestry. Source, BritRoyals.com. This adds Donald Trump to the group of US presidents that share the same ancestor, a discovery made by Bridget D'Avignon. You can read more about it below. Bridget D'Avignon, aged 12, was doing a genealogy research on her lineage when she decided to change the course and try to decipher the genealogy of the presidents of the United States. In her thorough research, which involved over 500,000 names through history, her aim was to find the ancestry of all US presidents and see if there was a presidential atom that connected all of them. To everybody's surprise, she discovered that 42 of 43 US presidents trace back to a single person, John Lackland Plantagenet, King of England, R 1199 to 1216. If you are familiar with the theories about the Illuminati, or the ruling elite families that govern the world, it may not come to a big surprise to find that all United States presidents, with the exception of one, including the Bushes, Bill Clinton, Jimmy Carter, and even Barack Obama, happen to be cousins, and that all of them are descendants of King John of England. The only president Bridge and couldn't connect in the lineage was Martin Van Buren, the 8th President of the United States. As for the others, this means that they are not only descendants of King John of England, but also distant cousins of Elizabeth, the Queen of England, and the British royal family. King John Plantagenet was King of England from 1199 to 1216. He was most famous for signing the Magna Carta in 1215, and for losing the Duchy of Normandy to King Philip II of France, thus receiving his nickname Lackland. He was also depicted as the villain in the Robin Hood tales.
Now the two candidates, as we will see, fit the bill in every single aspect. If you go to the web pages and you look at the bloodlines of the American presidents, then it is a known fact that all the presidents that have, well, reigned in the United States have all been related. So let's have a look at what the media has to say. If all presidents are related, which of the 2017 candidates will be the next president? As it turns out, both Trump and Hillary Clinton are related to John of Gaunt, the 14th century royal. Gaunt was the first Duke of Lancaster, was the son of King Edward III, according to MyHeritage. Trump is related through his mother, Mary Ann McLeod, back to his 17th grandfather, John Beaufort, while Clinton is related through her father and the Rodham family back to the 17th great-grandmother, Joan Beaufort. The two candidates are 19th cousins, and so they both have the right bloodlines to continue this lineage. Now, that's another story as to why they should all be related, and it's fascinating that the Bible doesn't speak about the presidents of the world, it speaks about the kings of the world. And it really, over the course of history, hasn't mattered which of the candidates is won, because the candidates have always both been in the same bloodlines. Here are the American presidential bloodlines. Here's another page that explains this. Did you know all 44 US presidents have carried European royal bloodlines into office? 34 have been genetic descendants of just one person, Charlemagne, the brutal 8th century king of the Franks. Now, that's a fascinating story, because Charlemagne is, of course, the one who was crowned emperor of the Roman Empire, the new Roman Empire, and the Pope was crowning him whilst his kingdom was falling apart. So he's a symbol of this unity of the world under one leadership, the papacy. And then if we go to Edward III of England, in fact, the presidential candidates with the most royal genes has won every single American election. Now, it seems as if Trump and Hillary had exactly the same lineage, so it didn't really matter which one of the two won. This information comes from Burke's Peerage, which is the Bible of aristocratic genealogy based in London. Every presidential election in America since and including George Washington in 1789 to Bill Clinton has been won by the candidate with the most British and French royal genes. Of the 42 presidents to Clinton, 33 have been related to two people, Alfred the Great, King of England, and Charlemagne, the most famous monarch of France. So it goes on. 19 of them are related to England's Edward III, and has 2,000 blood connections to Prince Charles. The same goes with the banking families in America. George Bush and Barbara Bush are from the same bloodline, the Pierce bloodline, which changed its name from Percy when it crossed the Atlantic. Percy is one of the aristocratic families of Britain to this day. They were involved in the gunpowder plot to blow up Parliament at the time of Guy Fawkes. Now that's even more fascinating.
Whatever down, and break it in pieces. Daniel. The joke's on US, the United States. If we ever believed that Trump was going to build an impenetrable wall that Mexico was going to pay for. Here is proof positive. As Lawrence O'Donnell brought to our attention on January 10, 2019, Trump's impenetrable steel slat fence can easily be cut apart with an inexpensive saw purchased at a 24-hour Home Depot. Like his fraudulent charity and his fraudulent university, Trump's wall is a fraud, whatever he calls it. Trump used his fraudulent wall to get elected president, knowing Mexico would never pay for it. Trump authorized the testing of the various prototypes of his downgraded wall, so he knows full well that his latest proposal is not going to keep anyone out who really wants to get in. Drug dealers can afford saws to cut through the fence, ships to sail around it, and planes and helicopters to fly over it. Trump's beautiful concrete wall was a joke, and his downgraded fence is a joke. A multi-billion-dollar boondoggle that solves nothing. So why are evangelical Christians supporting the father of lies in the flesh? Trump's Third World-ish military parade was supposed to cost $12 million, according to him. But the Pentagon said it would cost $80 million more, an increase of 666%, because 80 divided by 12 is 666%.